Hey everyone, I'm back with another haul. Okay. I have been a little obsessive about something, but that's normal for me. If you've watched me long enough, you probably know this by now. Um, so I picked up a couple of stamps and dies, mostly dies actually, and some paper. Um, so I got an order. This is an eBay purchase that I have here. This one's a used stamp from Darcy's long ago. I don't know what this one's called. Darcy Snowflake Snowman. And so you can see there's two snowmen here and a tree, some snowflakes, a odd butterfly, and then some sentiments in here. So that one's a nice to add to my collection, and it is a rubber cling mount stamp. So you can see them here. All in great conditions. I don't know if this has ever been used because it looks new, but glad to add this to my collection. I don't think I have this one yet. All right, and then I placed an order with scrapbook.com. Here is, oh, they have some sort of SBC Fest, March 10th and 11th. And they have special guests. Interesting. And then I ordered because there was a couple of things I was looking into, and it has to do with that whole cookie cooling rack idea that I have in my head and won't let go. So first of all, this is the only one that's not related to that die, I should say, and this is a Concord and Ninth new release Exo Quilt top die, and you can see there's actually a couple different dies in here. There's an outer piece that cuts the square, and then this will cut the impression of the quilt. I don't know why they didn't hook these together. Anyway, and then you've got this set of pieces here that will cut several at a time and two hearts. And when you put it all together, you have this quilted looking square with X's and O's. So that was a nice find. I think this was recent. Yeah, 2023. So January release probably. So I'm adding this to my quilting die collection. And then I went out down the rabbit hole of the whole idea of the mesh dies or the cooling rack dies. So in my previous video, I think it's the previous one, I played with this die here from MFT, which is called Crosshatch. It's MFT 2384. Here it is cut out. And I showed this in the video with the gingerbread dies. And so, of course, if you have a larger gingerbread, it won't fit on here. So I have ordered a few different size dies that like this from different companies, and I'm going to share those with you. So I've got two from Paper Rose, and they're the same, but they're different sizes. And these are both, what are these called? Mesh small die, 16274, and then this one is the large. So both from Paper Rose, two different sizes, and you can use them as kind of your pseudo cookie rack for your smaller cookies. So it fits really good there. If you have an even smaller gingerbread, which I do have smaller ones, this is good for that too. So this one is the Maker's Movement, and I have a Jaded Blossom one that fits here too. They're about the same size anyway, but I do have smaller ones, so glad to have that one. All right, or you can put multiple cookies, you know, obviously they don't have to be gingerbread. They can be your heart-shaped sugar cookies or star shape or tree shape or bell shape. There are lots of different cookies, like, you know, the shape cookies to put on these sizes here. This one's a little more irregular. This one is more like that MFT one. This is called Burlap Texture from Altenew. You can see it here. It is about the same size as the one from MFT. Yeah, it's pretty much the same size. So I probably didn't need this one, but, you know, I had to look into it so I could pass on that information to you. This one's from 2020, but scrapbook.com had this still in their stock. All right, this is probably the biggest one. Well, and the next one. This one is from Honeybee Stamps. And Honeybee has, you know, they have cookie dies in their stash. This one is burlap. Burlap A2 background. So you can use this one if you like the look of this one. It is pretty good size because it is A2. So here is a nice large gingerbread cookie, and can you imagine him sitting on that? Okay, or you can turn him this way. And you can sort of, if you'd like to clean up the edges because it looks too much like burlap to you, you can cut those, you can cut this smaller so you can fit it on your card any way you'd like, and make it look more like a cookie sheet. Not a cookie sheet, but a cookie rack. Okay, because of the grids. Again, for all of these different dies I'm showing you, use your precision plate because all these little tiny holes, you don't want to be sitting there poking them out. You want them to just fall right out for you. Okay, so there's this one, and Altenew also has one. They have another die, and this one is the grid cover die. Now this is very straight, so this looks so much like a cookie rack, cooling rack, that I don't know if this is the one I'll go with for most of my stuff, but it is A2 in size, and it has straight edges like a cookie rack would normally, but cookie racks usually have those little feet that hold it up off the counter. That's the only thing that's really missing here, and like maybe a thicker line somewhere in, 2/3 of the way in on both sides where those feet normally sit. So that's really kind of what's missing here, but other than that, this would be perfect too. So again, very large cooling rack. This is the Tailored Expressions gingerbread die. Very old. I don't know if they still have this anywhere. You probably could find it maybe on eBay. And then this other one here is from Peachy Keen, the largest in their size of dies. And I showed all of these dies for the gingerbreads that I'm showing you are in the previous video. So if you're interested in seeing those in more detail and what I did with this particular die, you can watch that video on your own. Okay? But look how that fits. So I did find a good, good option, I think, for a cooling rack if you're looking for one. This is not made to be a cooling rack, obviously, but it looks a lot like one. So this one and this one are both A2 in size. One is irregular because it's meant to be like burlap, and the other one is more your just straight up grid. Okay? This could double as a pegboard if you have like something for like shelves and stuff like that. So anyway, I also got 2 pads of paper. I actually wasn't sure if I had this one. This is Cartabella. There's 24 sheets in here, and it's called Homemade. I might have this. I didn't even bother to check because I didn't feel like it. This is from 2022, from last year. So let me just kind of flick through it. It has very much cooking themed and flowers. So I do like the sort of patterns in here. There's the roosters. Are there chickens in there? Yeah, there's chickens in there. And lots of sunflowers. There's the bees. I don't know, again, there's the strawberries. I don't know, again, if I have this already. If I do, hey, I got another one. It's not going to make me sad. I will never run out of paper with the rate that I'm going at. So now it's repeating. So double-sided, 65-pound, 6x6. All right, and then I ordered a repurchase. I did a repurchase of this Doodlebug Made with Love paper pad in a 6x6. I know I have this in the 12x12, and I think I've used some from my 6x6, but I didn't want to run out, and the longer, because this is an old pad from 2020, the longer you wait, the less availability there is because people are selling out of their stock, and I don't know, if you'll be able to find it for much longer. And so I repurchased another one, and I like pretty much all the patterns in here, either the A or B side, so it's not an issue that I have 2 of the same thing, because I often do that. I never use the cut-aparts either. So you've probably seen me use some of these papers if you're watching the videos I've done with my recipe book, or any recipes. A lot of them use this paper, but I like it enough to have a double of it. So that's it for now. And hope you... Oh, wait, one more. I don't think I showed these yet. These are some markers I purchased. They are Memento dye ink markers. So these are safe to use with your Copics. I have a black one, which I use for edging my die cuts that I fussy cut myself by hand or by machine. But I've always wanted one for the rich cocoa. And that's what this... I couldn't find these individually. Rich cocoa is in this pack, and so is Desert Storm. Now, Desert Storm ink usually is used for no-line coloring, so I don't know why you would want to line the edge, but if you did, that's what's in this pack too. They did have a pack some time ago of this one's called what is this? There's a name for each one, each color series, and I want to say this is Arizona something. But there's another pack that actually has the black in it, and I didn't need another black, but I couldn't find that one anyway because it wasn't in stock anywhere. So I got two markers of what I would probably use for stamping, you know, images before I color. And again, because these are dye ink, they are safe to use with your Copics. I don't typically, like if you stamp something and it's too light of an image, I don't typically go back and draw it back in. I usually just stamp it again. But if you find that there's a place where it's a broken piece in the stamped image, you can use your marker to draw it in. But make sure if you're using Copics to color that you are using a Copic friendly ink. And this is dye ink. So same thing that's in your 4-pack. So they come in 4-packs like the inks do, the little ink pads. From Memento, those little teardrop ones. This is the same set of colors that comes in those ink pads. So if you get the ink pads, you get these 4 colors. When you buy the marker sets, you get the same 4 colors, so you can match them up. But I really don't need these two for what I use these for. And it has 2 ends. It has a brush end, which is the end that I use typically. But this bullet tip here is used for, you know, drawing in your fine lines if you have a broken line. So now I have a Desert Storm and a Rich Cocoa that match the ink pads, which I typically have my Memento Rich Cocoa pad here. I don't usually do no line coloring because I don't enjoy how it looks typically. So I don't really do that. I have the ink pad. It's just not right in front of me because I don't use it often. So that's it for now, for real. I will be back hopefully to share something the next video. And take care. Bye.